or will we go back towards the Sivir Yuumi? Honestly, I think that Lucian Nami was a very big difference maker here, and looks like we will go immediately over towards that. Wukong could be the pickup here again for Tarzan, but we did see that slip away in that last game 4 in response to things like the Gnar then becoming a bit more higher priority for Ala in that top lane.
I am loving the confidence here. Something we've seen V5 stick to is their guns in this series, right? Like, hey, something works for them, or they think something works, they're sticking to it. I think obviously big deal for Photic to put the Lucian win rate on the line. No, he's probably not thinking about it too much, but in all actuality, it's about the gameplay style for V5, and I think this is going to work for them so well. But it's also something that's working out for LNG is they get the Wukong back.
Do they take the Sylas though? Do they take the Yuumi? These are the big picks that we've kind of seen going back and forth. Yuumi looks like it will be the call here, and make sure the Lightning Boom can have that late game scaling in that bottom side. But here's an adaptation. Finally, it looks like Vi is going to be picked up here. Has been banned every single game in the second rotation by LNG. And Karsa, hoping that now that he has his hands on it, can have a much better early game than he had in game 4.
Yeah, I mean, the skirmishing, the play calling, the setup is so crucial, and that's exactly what the Vibe brings to the table. I really need to focus in on what we get for these solo laners, though, because that is what we're setting up so much for in the second phase of picks and bans, right? We get the Jax ban away by V5, and we're looking at kind of what the style these solo laners are going to be, because we've gotten very different takes, right? Like, Akali has, Doinb has gone from Akali to the Rise to the Nocturne, and at this point, it's all about asking what comes next, right? And that Sylas ban, a very big call out for LNG.
Curious to see if they'll go towards the Lissandra ban as well, just trying to get Rookie as uncomfortable, or not uncomfortable, but like off to picks that he doesn't traditionally go towards. The Akali is going to be the ban away, so now the question remains, like, what are we actually going to see? I think for Rich, you could always go towards something like the Gnar blind, leave that counter pick for Rookie, and honestly, I think that's going to be the big answer here. I feel like being able to respond to Doinb is going to be incredibly important for Rookie. It has been such a big defining factor this entire series long.
Yeah, it has, and it's been the bending and breaking of that mid lane, right, in both avenues. And I think we've already talked so much about Rookie and maybe his chagrin towards Doinb in the terms of past experiences, but I love that V5 are adapting to this, and they'll take the Gnar themselves.
Ala, thinking about going back to his old faithful. Even when he was back as natural, Camille was his favorite champion, the champion we've seen the most played from him. But the Aurelia, also a brilliant answer to the Gnar, would give him a ton of opportunity to try and play through that solo lane that we know Ala likes to go for. But Fiora going to be the pickup here. And the chips are down. Ala says, look, I want to step up and be a carry once more in these solo lanes.
And I will have to say, it's a difference, right? It's a bit of a change for LNG, where they've been relying on Ala to come into the team fights a lot of time, right? He's been on the Gnars, the Kennons. He's been, a crucial factor in setting up these big 5v5s. But now, with the Fiora, that side lane presence is going to be much more something to deal with for V5. And LNG, pull a page out of V5's book, they'll take the Lissandra.
Rookie, eyeing up the Orianna. People have said to him for a long time that Orianna, by far, his best champion. One of the best, if not the best, Oriannas in the world as well. It would be an absolute treat, but he's going to go back towards the Taliyah. So, small nerfs to Taliyah, coming in onto 12-15. 2 seconds added to the Unraveled Earth. But Rookie says it doesn't matter. I can still get the push. He wants to try and take over in side lanes. He wants to try and control these mid-game fights for V5. And it's going to be on LNG to see if they can keep the V5 mid laner in check.
And what a culmination we get here for game number 5. We're picking and pulling pieces from across the series, but we're also getting new influences. The Fiora, the Vi finally coming in, the Taliyah finally coming in to the series, but especially at the hands of Rookie. It's going to come down to a lot of that mid-jungle synergy and where they find those advantages early.
And I'm so excited to see how that is going to pan out. It feels like Rookie and Karsa have such a strong combo if they can close that distance. But Tarzan and Doinb post 6 is very scary as well.
It is indeed, but you get what you came for when you come to the LPL. It's nothing but fighting and it's nothing but fun. And we are here in a Game 5 banger between LNG and V5, setting the stakes a little bit. LNG, they had the dream of the past presence, the dream miracle run last year. They're making good on that run. They're trying to one-up their dream and make it reality. V5 on the other side with the disappointment that has come in the past for this roster, for this iteration. Karsa, Rookie, Rich, Photic, ppgod, they are one step away from being denied any of that positivity here, and they want to make good on the super team possibility that this roster was put together for. And it all comes down to one last game. It all comes down to every decision made in the next 40 minutes on Summoner's Rift, and it's none other than V5 versus LNG. Let's get it!
The E5 are sitting on the brink of once more tasting disappointment. Spring left a sour taste in their mouth as they were unable to find the success that people were looking for. A team that was expected to go to MSI and represent the LPL, and now with Worlds just around the corner, struggling once more in a playoff spot. Karsa in now for the second game on the Vi. Can he be the difference maker here? Or once more, just the miracle runs that LNG get at this world stage prove too much for V5, and Tarzan and Doinb can once more start to move in towards that double elimination bracket.
And I mean, obviously you see a lot of the names on your screen and you recognize them, right? The legends are being retold in this series, not only from the mid lane, not only from Doinb and Rookie. The amount of experience, the amount of championships on both these rosters, the veterancy, all of that culminating in one game for your season, Dagda. Like, I can't even express how stressful, how monumental these next moments will be, especially looking at the path that we've gotten for both these teams, right? Like, it has been such back and forth, but that last game, it was not in V5's hand. They took the momentum from a couple big play calls, and they're looking to take that momentum here into this final game.
And for LNG, if they can actually try and turn that around, like, this would be the matching the highest finish this organization's ever had. A 4th place as both Snake and LNG is all that they've been able to achieve. But now with the roster with Doinb, Tarzan, Ala, like, this is a top side that you expect to be able to go the distance here in the LPL. You just have to see if they can manage to achieve it. Both junglers going to be starting off on opposite sides of the map. Karsa going to be taking a little bit of a slower one as he wasn't able to get any sort of help. We'll have to see now where he's going to put his focus first. Will he try and go for some sort of cheeky gank into the mid lane?
That's exactly what I want to look at, is early focuses, right? The differences that some of these picks are bringing to the table, right? The pick for Ala, Fiora on the top side, we're already seeing very big aggression coming out from him. But as well as looking at Karsa on the Vi, looking at Rookie on the Talia, that level 6, that mobility is going to be so important, but it's all focusing back into who takes that first advantage, who takes the, at least, decision-making advantage early on, looking at Tarzan versus Karsa.
This has been the Tarzan Classic for a lot of players. We haven't got to see it a huge amount, but here we go.
Goes over the wall. The CC is there. Cleanse from Rookie immediately. Nicely done. It'll be just a Summoner spell burned. Karsa is down here on the Scuttle Crab, but LNG are pinging. They have the health advantage and the man advantage, but can't get down there fast enough, and Karsa will get that objective.
Yeah, Karsa will just be able to use the Scry's Bloom there to spot out that Tarzan is there, and we'll just back away. Light and Photic.
Oh, no. The exhaust comes out. He immediately cleanses it, realizing he has to. And Light, we've seen this 2v2 go back and forth, right? But it is now Light and LvMao taking favor.
Yeah, I mean, heal blown, cleanse blown by the bot side of V5, whereas it was just the exhaust from LvMao. So Summoner Spell, massive advantage for LNG. As across the board, we're kind of seeing V5 struggle in each of these lanes. Ala doing spectacular in the top side. Photic and ppgod now starting to get some advantageous trades, with Tarzan helping out in mid. He now wants to try and move into bot side as well.
One thing for Tarzan in every series, he just finds a way to get under the skin of his opponent. His pathing, especially on Wukong, is so crazy. Now Karsa's going to be a little bit late to the 3v3, and the health bar is not going to help out. Oh, the flash tried to come out from Karsa to get the end of the charge, but he didn't get it. And now Photic, he gets flashed onto by Tarzan. First blood for LNG, and it's about to be a quick second. Light gets his own.
And it's looking like the start of Game 4 again, Mazel. Mistakes from Karsa end up netting advantages for LNG. Photic gets caught out. Karsa will fall, and that's a kill apiece now for Tarzan and Light.
What an incredible pickup and early game advantage that we know and love for LNG. This is something that is tried and true for them. Tarzan's early ganks, his early pathing, his pressure he puts down, they always find an advantage. The question comes later on, but right now we're sitting good for LNG.
Yeah, Karsa not quite able to get the flash to extend that range on the Q. And then great job from Tarzan here, realizing that he can go for that play, gets the kill, body blocks Karsa as well, so then the kill can go over towards Light. And now, this is where the alarm bells are ringing for V5. Bot lane, disaster is stricken, top side going in heavily in Allah's favor, and you need to find some way to turn this around.
So I'm looking at level 6s. Obviously, we had already highlighted for Rookie, the Weaver's Wall could be huge in terms of his movement around the map and his connection with Karsa. Because again, that is a main piece to the puzzle here for V5, is making sure Rookie and Karsa are on the same page. Speaking of the same page, they're under the same tower at least, but LNG are putting up the pressure in mid lane.
I mean, look, Rookie's just being forced away from the tower. He's just falling further behind in CS. Like, this is such a good job from LNG to control the pace of this early game. ppgod will spot out, like LvMao just moving back across the bot side here, but they're going to be fine. They just hop over the wall, and they'll still be here to collect this wave. Tarzan and Doinb actually looking to maybe move down onto this bot side as well. Dragon is up, but I don't know if they want to fully commit onto a bot side play just yet.
We are seeing the split focus, at least from the junglers. We'll at least maybe see Tarzan come down to this bottom lane again, but we're actually seeing Doinb being that mobile roamer from the mid lane, trying to get a capitalization onto Rich. Allah, though, he's left out. He does get the riposte off and does get out. Rookie is right behind him. He has level 6, and Rich almost has Meganar, so LNG back away.
But again, you're committing so many resources to try and shut down this play, and Tarzan's like, cool. I'm just going to pop this wave nice and easy in towards the mid lane, make sure that Rookie loses out for trying to make that play happen. And again, like, I mean, they're not dissuaded here. LNG are just like, all right, well, now that they're backed away, we just go for take 2.
Because they feel confident in their own right? The composition is working out for them so far. They're finding the early advantage they need, and it's especially how they use that. I feel like a lot of the time, it is just that oppression that comes out from Tarzan and Doinb, because they're so good at knowing where you are on the map and calling your bluffs. And I think that's what we've seen in the positive games for LNG, is a lot of this crazy manipulative pathing.
Well, going to make sure that he gets on towards Rich here, because Tarzan, he cancelled the recall. Rich is in so much
challenge.
trouble.
He does have the jump, and it's not enough just yet. He almost has Meganar. Tarzan gets out, and Allah tanks the tower just a couple level times, and that will be a 3rd kill for LNG.
Karsa will try and respond by getting the dragon, so at least getting something back for themselves, but these lanes are going disastrously for V5 right now, especially that top side of the map. We've already got that big CS lead that's opening up, plus change now with the kill going over towards Allah as well. Riptail just about to spawn 2. I don't think V5 will really be in a position to try and contest this, especially if Tarzan just starts to roam straight up towards that objective.
Love to see V5 falling back to their comfort, though, making sure to get some of that objective focus, the objective control that we highlighted at the beginning of the day that was so important for them in a lot of their wins, but as well as just in terms of how they play the game. The Rift Herald is up on the board, though, and I do wonder how, if any, priority they put into that and try to use maybe the Weaver's Wall from Rookie to set it up.
Yeah, they're trying to start it up immediately, because I was looking at Light and LvMao go, right, these guys have push on bot side. They'll get to rotate up towards that objective first. Doinb with a very late reset as well, so looks like LNG actually may not be in a position to try and contest this. Tarzan, the only one that's there at the moment.
They're bringing Allah down. They also have Rookie coming in. That's an immediate Meganar to the wall. And as well as everybody just falling in onto Tarzan. He dodges out nicely done away from Bridge. That's Rift Herald going down to V5, though. So they get the objective they came for and force the flash of Tarzan.
Slight mistakes starting to come through on LNG's side. Like Doinb going for the reset late meant that couldn't really contest on towards the Rift Herald. Light and LvMao not really getting that wave pushed in on bot side, as LvMao needs to be careful. It means that they can't really be in a position to roam up either. So despite the fact we're seeing these early kills and this early control go over to LNG, both objectives now have gone towards V5.
Which is very, very nice in terms of like trying to get back from those early deaths over. And Tarzan just falls right into the big meaty hands of Rich.
Yeah, I think a couple of mistakes here from V5 though, right? Karsa misclicking on the clone means that he doesn't actually get the knock up he wants. A miss on the house as well means you don't get the kill onto Tarzan. So could have been a little bit more going over towards V5, but they'll be happy with the Rift Herald. It's just a question now of how they want to try and use this. At least for me, it feels like trying to get a push in mid with Rookie, maybe help out with Karsa and ppgod, and then trying to get that Weaver's Wall bot side.
They're trying to get Rookie again. The Frozen Tomb was used, cleanse immediately from Rookie to get out of that one. They had brought LvMao up as well. They're just trying to put the focus on this mid lane because they realize, you know, if Doinb has favor in the mid lane, that enables these side lane roams even more so, and that has been so integral for LNG.
I mean, just control over the mid lane has been the dominant factor in this series thus far. Apart from, obviously, LNG struggling to close out in the last game, these early games have been defined by who gets the advantage between Doinb and Rookie. And right now, Doinb at least been able to keep a certain amount of control over that mid lane because of the help he's receiving. A V5 need to find some way to respond because at the moment, they're not unlocking Rookie. They're not finding opportunities to really use this Rift Herald that's already halfway over.
Yeah, it is really looking at where the next iteration is going to be, and it looks like they want to put it into Photic and ppgod. Ala in a 1v1 against Rich. He'll get the riposte back. The grand challenge is issued, and Rich, you're in some trouble. You're a little mini-nar now. Is this the solo bolo for Ala? He said we ain't seen nothing like it, and Ala, he gets the solo.
The second solo kill for Ala now in this series, and it's again on these picks that can take over. The Fiora now going to be such a threat on side lanes, and it's going to get to a stage now where Rich just won't be able to contest the side lane against Ala, and that opens up a beautiful win condition for LNG.
What a way to blow it open too. This Fiora is going to be a menace. And again, we just see Karsa hovering this bottom lane. Tarzan has been here the entire time because he knows that that's where Karsa wants to utilize this Rift Herald. But at this point, he's going to have to look elsewhere. He is moving back up towards this middle lane, towards these solo lanes. But as well, I mean, he needs to make a decision. It's about 1/4 of the way from being finished.
I just don't know where he gets to put it down. I mean, Rich, the fact that Rich is losing so heavily in topside means that Tarzan is able to just look to match Karsa's clears, and he's been doing a fantastic job of doing just that. You see, this vision control has been sitting here for the past like 6-7 minutes, ever since we got that initial roam topside, and it's just meant that they know exactly where Karsa is at all points in time, and making it easy for Tarzan to just sit bot lane and make sure nothing funky is going to happen.
We get to look at that solo, a little bit of a sneak peek, and especially just the heads-up gameplay from Ala.
Yeah. I mean, everything whiffs from the Gnar. Even the Mega Gnar here as well, right as Rich is about to go mini. Like, I know he basically had only a little bit of time left to use it, but I mean, the house goes wide, the stun is riposted, then the Gnar. It's not a pretty look for Rich in that top side. They're going to have to see how V5, they bounced back in game 4 in an incredulous manner. We're going to have to see if they can do it again.
Karsa forced to use the Rift Herald in mid lane. They will get the plates at least to Karsa's pocket. Oh no, though. They've caught him out. That's the Frozen Tomb as well. Karsa goes right back in. He's tanking up a storm. He goes down, but that's a 2 for a V5, and in the end, they went out in the trade, but maybe Light makes a difference here. Rookie in some trouble. He needs to be careful if Light's flashing forward. Rich is on his way. Light and LvMao, they might be in their own version of trouble. Photic is moving forward. One more auto. Rich wants it. He gets it with the boomerang.
The Hyper will let him get the movement speed to get out as well. And just like that, as we said, a V5, somehow, some way, they managed to bring these fights back from the brink. Ala will get plates on top side. This Fiora is still huge, but suddenly that gold lead ain't as big anymore.
It ain't nearly as big. Tied up even. See if Ala... Oh, no, he didn't get the tower. It was so close. One auto attack. He'll try to get back down to it. But next focus for me is the next objectives. We've seen 100% objective control from V5, as we know they do love. And actually, before we get to that objective conversation, we'll look at the overextension from LNG.
So Karsa flashes away, but look at the choice here. jumps on towards Doinb in the backline, so gets the double CC, knocks them perfectly in place for Photic to get the Light Slinger through everyone. And then here, again, Light thinks he can get the play, but Rookie just about goes golden and just about manages to get that slow with the boulder toss, which sets up beautifully here for V5 to get so much back in their favor.
And for me, it's also is like V5 know they had them on the ropes to turn around the game, and Rich is like, let's slam that home a little bit more. Oh!
No
way! LvMao, you monster kitty!
The Ultra Shock Laser and the Prowling Projectile steal the dragon from right underneath Karsa.
Oh no,
Photic!
Final chapter is barely not going to hit, and Photic just lays down the culling into Tarzan's face. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. Here comes Karsa as well. They want to try to find it. Rookie is in deep. Doesn't get the seismic toss there. And now it's the big cease and desist coming from Karsa. Doinb is here to lock him down, though. They get one back. The tidal wave not going to do much. Light is trying to dodge, but he doesn't have the damage there to finish Photic off. It is a 3v3. It's so tight. LvMao, he has some healing to give over to Doinb. ppgod wants to find a bubble. Doesn't land it onto Doinb. Rookie was right there to follow, but it is chaos in this game 5.
Karsa's decision-making on his target selection could have been a bit cleaner there. Could have just jumped onto Light, and it could have been a very easy pickup for V5, but instead gets greedy with it and ends up going for 1-for-1. And again, that leaves Ala with that push in topside to get the tower for himself. And we'll see it here. Ultra Shock Laser with the Prowling Projectile. No, actually, Smite was available, so just an early Smite. The early Smite at 902 HP. So 2 HP left on that dragon from the Smite. And LNG are just about able to steal it away. Photic as well does a good job of escaping here. But here, I think for Karsa, if you just jump onto Light with the cease and desist, you win this fight. Like, Tarzan's too low to go in. But because he goes onto Tarzan, Light is putting down so much damage. And with Doinb coming in as well, now you're overextended as V5. And yes, they will get one kill back onto Light, but it means that they're very close to losing more members on that play.
And the fact that he committed so hardly to Tarzan, and Tarzan got out in the end. Like that is some of the peel back and the potential mind games that Tarzan has been able to play on this Wukong. And now, for the first time, you know, the Rift Herald will be in favor of LNG here in this game of the series. And I think particularly looking at the utilization of this Rift Herald to try to get either Light, Doinb, or Ala ahead, they have so many options for LNG.
Yeah, I mean, Ala's already massive. Like, he's still going to be in a great spot when it comes towards these side lane plays. The biggest problem that I'm seeing, though, is, like, the rest of V5 are now starting to get to a position where they can test things like, you know, push in mid, which makes it a lot more difficult for Ala to just win out on side lanes. Rich, you can even see here, is going to run away, but should be fine to just hop, skip, and a jump away out of this.
Doinb trying to speed in here and make something happen. Actually, just commits to it because he doesn't have the Megadar. And there's the grand challenge. Ala will take the kill. Doinb gets out by the skin of his teeth. Mid lane, though, we got craziness. The seismic is enough to get him back in. Light goes down. Karsa gets the kill. Photic gets burned down. It is trades like crazy. And Rookie takes a couple extra shots from the turret. Karsa coming up with a big double kill.
It's 2 for 2 across the map, but again, it's towers going towards LNG. TP here from LNG to move back in towards mid. Ala just wants to make sure he can keep the mid lane tower standing, make sure it's an advantageous trade for LNG, but more kills going across towards V5 and also towards Ala. It's every side playing towards what they want to be their big win condition, and Tarzan, I don't know if he just didn't spot Karsa there, but they get the kill onto ppgod. Rookie in a great spot here to follow up. The knockback will set up enough time just about for Photic to get the kill on Light, but Tarzan's damage with this Divine Sunder, so much underneath this tower.
And especially, I will say, like, that comeback is huge for LNG, but man, the decisiveness from Rookie, the double seismic shove onto the crucial member, like, man, you just can't fault this guy. Like, even in the moments where it's desperation for V5, you consistently have the legend in the mid lane who, again, is just retelling the narrative. He is a dominant portion of V5's victories, and especially how they dictate where they want to go on the map.
Yeah, trying to find success away from IG. Same when we look at Doinb, trying to find success away from FPX, but they need to find success at this next dragon. 30 seconds. Vision control is established here for V5. Ala trying to hover in river, but if V5 can find this big team fight, I definitely favor the front to back for V5, especially if Karsa can get access to light with this cease and desist.
And calling early on to get that damage down. We said that was a super big portion of Photic navigating the team fights last game on the Lucian. And he will stick with it as well here into this 5th game. There's the Dragon coming up here and available for V5. This will put them on 2nd Dragon, which LNG at this point are okay with if they stole the last one. But in all actuality, it's some of those little minute moments. Allah is just waiting in the bush here. Maybe he tries to get a steal with the boomerang. Maybe another crazy play for LNG. But he's right in there, and he's buying time. The Dragon does go down to Karsa. Afterwards, though, Doinb goes gold in final chapter across the board, and this is where LNG, they're looking hot right now, and they can't get the Ultra Shock Laser. They do get the tower. Oh, no, Tarzan, you're in some trouble, and there you go, slammed down by Rookie. They don't have their frontliner just yet. Photic is now dodging into the fight. Rich trying to stack up here, but he's getting very low. Rookie with the Weaver's Wall to cut off the escape here. They can't get the last seismic shove. And that is a big back and forth, but V5 taking the pressure.
But that's the thing, a tower went down in mid.
Oh,
Wait, Photic!
Photic is trying to go for it. He almost gets the damage.
No, this is where V5, you can see again, trying desperately to match toe for toe every option that LNG have. Rift Herald went down in mid lane to get the mid lane turret while Dragon was taken, but because you get V5 able to push LNG back, they're able to respond with a mid tower of their own. But you see here, this gets very close. Doinb just about gets the stopwatch off before that bubble hits, the ultimate even coming through. Rich not able to get the CC long enough or in a good position for Photic to follow up. And then Tarzan way overextends here. Seismic Shove will finish that off. And then V5 just able to pepper down LNG as they try to escape. Allows them to get the mid lane turret as well.
And a big pickup on both sides, right? Like we have been, this is consistently, I feel like the closest game, especially that we've gotten in this series, right? We've seen LNG come out to leads early on in a lot of the games, but then it has trouble finishing it out. Here, both teams are really set up going into the later parts of this game, but as you had mentioned earlier, the team fight's definitely in favor of V5. I'm looking at LNG to adapt to it and see what they pick apart with Allah.
I mean, it's a fight on two sides, right? Allah, as you say, he's the one that controls side lanes. He's the one that could potentially find the plays that they need on LNG's side to win this game. Whereas when you look across at V5, it's looking at Photic, looking at Rookie in these fights, trying to see if they can contain LNG to just these objective fights. At the moment, V5 are doing a relatively good job. They're keeping their waves pushed in. They're stopping LNG from able to aggress onto the tier 2s, which is kind of the big problem for LNG right now. When the Rift Herald hasn't been able to kind of crack open these structures, you now need to push in mid, get vision control established, and see if you can look for picks with Tarzan, who may have just been picked himself.
Ooh, if that bubble
just
landed.
goes wide.
It's very close, and that's, you know, obviously the strength that we could see from ppgod. If he catches one big bubble, one big tidal wave, it makes the difference. And now calling comes out from Photic. Obviously, liberal use of the calling is huge in terms of setting up team fights in favor of V5.
Also just buying space for Rich on the spot side, right? He wants to try and push in, get another tower over in favor of V5, keep everything within touching distance. I mean, it's 3 towers to 1 for the moment in favor of LNG, but they would love for V5 to be able to at least keep this map as open as possible for themselves.
And that opening of the map is so important. But you see Allah pressing down on the bottom lane, trying to respond to some of that pushing. V5 weren't able to get that out of the tower just yet. And I think that's also something that we have to highlight, is there is a lot of that standing gold for V5, as LNG have already taken all 3 of the outer towers, but specifically looking at next steps. You have a minute and a half for another dragon. This would be sole point for V5 and a lot of decision-making power for them. But we've seen contests from LNG, and I expect in about a minute and 20, we're going to have another one of those.
They're trying to get a pick on towards Photic or on towards Rich. They know that Rookie is going to move up topside with Karsa because they want to try and push that wave in with a minute until Dragon and then start to roam down towards bot, and they're going for it.
He got him. Photic, he's going to go down. Huge play from LNG. They waited, they baited, and they got him. Oh my God, the frozen tomb! Rich does buy a lot of time, but that's 2 quick picks for LNG.
And that could be the Baron for LNG. No top, no AD carry, and you have to now look. Oh my,
oh,
Rookie.
Tarzan, you gotta be careful because Rookie is always waiting.
I mean, they still can flip this. Karsa can still look for the steal. This is now danger territory. The poke is coming down.
He goes in, he goes golden though. LNG, they are looking for the fight. Allah is healing up here. Karsa needs to be careful. He uses the vault breaker and the cease and desist to go back in. Rookie is putting down some serious damage numbers here, and Karsa is the front line. It's traded, but a double kill for Rookie.
Rookie will not let this game go easily. Karsa gets the engagement they need. Now it's the support and top laner for LNG that are down, with Dragon up in 15 seconds. Karsa still a ways away, but V5 can get control on the map. Use the fact that they have slightly lower cooldowns to see if they can move over towards the objective. We'll just catch it all here in the replay though, as this was great from LNG. I love this play. They know that for Rookie to push in top, Karsa has to help him, so they look for the play on mid, but just not quite able to get rich before he ends up getting the Meganar, and that's a lot of AoE damage onto Tarzan, alongside Rookie here, getting that poke down. And this is where it starts to get shaky now for LNG. Another Dragon went down just in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And what we see here, like, Doinb, Golden, Seismic Shove just misses, which actually could have finished off Doinb, and then Allah way overextends trying to find this peak.
Feeling really confident with LvMao right at his back, but maybe some less confidence there in the next time around. But again, as you had mentioned, man, Rookie just not letting it go, not going quietly into the night. 4-0-6, and this is the moment for him to step up. And now they had a little bit of potential fight around the Baron. The LNG realized they don't need to bluff V5 at this point, and V5 haven't picked up that Dragon, right? They are two Dragon, at least two Ocean Dragons in, with a lot of that regeneration coming to bat.
Tarzan does need to be careful here. We'll have the vault breaker to get over the wall, but still need to make sure that you're not getting caught out without your flash around. LNG haven't been able to get that control that we were talking about though. Allah hasn't been able to get push inside lanes because every time he tries to, V5 are finding some objective to force, getting some answer with Rookie on this Weaver's wall to get themselves into place. And as long as V5 are kind of staying grouped like this, it's beneficial to them. So for LNG, they need to find some way to gain tempo back, find some pick that allows them to get control over this map, or risk losing out on this game.
They're just doing the Baron right now. I like it. They're forcing the dance and immediately forced out of the dance. I don't know where the next partner is going to be, but V5 definitely trying to force LNG's hand.
They're trying to force LNG into the Baron area where maybe they can look for a pick, but honestly, you're kind of just wasting time with both top and bot waves pushing in. This is just giving opportunities for, well, Allah to get into a good spot, but will be spot on the ward.
He does, and immediately pulls all of the V5 attention. But for me, it's also, you know, Allah needing to play towards these side lanes and make sure that pressure is there, right? He has an enormous lead over Rich, but the difference maker is Rich has a Meganar ulti. Like, he can get into a fight and make the difference, whereas Allah has to pick apart the fights one by one.
Yeah, and you can see the V5 have gone back to clear out these waves to make sure that Allah can't play towards the 1v1. 2.5 minutes until Dragon. You're still putting a lot of pressure down around Baron. And as long as LNG can't step across river easily, Allah can't threaten tier 2 towers. So he can't actually try and play through that strength. And especially as Allah only now getting his TP back up, now he at least has some opportunity to try and play off towards sides. But up until that stage, it was so difficult for LNG to do so.
It really was. And I think looking at that next setup, at least V5 are constantly looking for it. And so are LNG to some extent. And I think if V5 find one of those picks, find a big bubble, find the calling early into the damage, like that is where we've seen them shine, right? They consistently, even when behind in this series, have been looking for picks before objectives. And we have a while to those objectives, but those picks stay the same. And the consistency stays the same.
The consistency has been the problem for V5 though. I mean, we've seen it, mistakes in the early stages. They've had that slump in the regular split. We saw them struggle in spring playoffs. And again, now question marks up against them as they are looking to see if they can get that Ocean Soul for themselves. Whereas for LNG, the miracle run back in summer 2021 ran out just as they got into the elimination stage. They did net themselves that opportunity in the gauntlet and get themselves to Worlds, but for LNG, they'll want to be pushing for more. Now that this team looks like it's finally firing on all cylinders.
They are forcing it yet again. 3-item spikes have come up for some serious carries here on both sides, right? Rookie is on his 3-item spike, Light and Photic as well. They are just constantly pushing and trying to force LNG to miss position around one of these choke points. Because as we've kind of alluded to, right, like the big Meganar into a seismic shove, into the cease and desist tidal wave, like it is a huge team fight setup. And from the get-go in the draft, that was the crucial piece for V5.
Allah doesn't crack though, and LNG don't crack. They don't burn that TP to get over and immediately try to deal with the Baron push. Instead, they're taking this nice and slow. So you've got push now on top side, you've got LNG here grouping around this dragon. TP's available for everyone, but V5 command the river. And it's going to be on LNG to see if once more they can find some way to get access to Photic and Rookie on this backline.
And again, V5 just trying to find the advantage early before the fight kicks off. Doinb did TP down to the bottom lane, and could we look for another LvMao steal, or is it gonna be a 5v5 fight? I'm so excited to find out in its own right. Karsa playing aggressively, LNG not having any vision to really play through, but they've gone ahead and set up the control wards before this dragon fight, and they're kind of waiting for V5.
Rich, going to be pushed away by Allah. Nearly has that Meganar hop used to get back over the wall. Rookie seeing if he can find that flank, but will be spotted.
There comes across, splits the team. Allah and Doinb on one side, the rest on the other. Dragon have a little bit of trouble with that Weaver's wall there. He's a flying creature, but can't fly over the wall. And V5 now in the position to get flanked by Allah. And we'll see if he can make the difference. The Dragon about half health here. Rich almost has Meganar. They go into Doinb, but they don't get him. And on the back, there's Allah. It's a huge team fight from LNG. He's got the grand challenge on the back. Karsa's going to go down too. And LNG, they have routed V5 in front of the objective. And they get the kills they came for. A double kill for Light. And Rich will be run down.
There was no vision behind V5. They didn't know where Allah was, and he managed to sneak directly in onto the back line. And I mean, they've got a lot of push here. They've got a lot of dead timers. That could be it.
They are pushing heavily. They are hitting hard. Where we set the motto for V5 was hit hard, and they want to push forward. They're onto the Nexus towers, and time again, they were doubted, but one series at a time, they turn their dreams into reality, and they will continue the 2022 LNG Miracle Run.
Somehow, they are doing it again. LNG in a Game 5 against Victory 5 will find themselves again in round 4, the double elimination for LNG. And that is a fantastic performance from this team to guarantee themselves that second chance in playoffs.
Go ahead and pop off, King Doinb. You are a monster. Your team is a monster, and the elation tells it all. Even on the brink, Allah and the entire team coming to bat, and the nightmare that Doinb presents for Rookie will continue on. The disappointment that is there for V5 will continue on, and now their only hope is that regional qualifier.
Still, there is that hope for V5 to make it to Worlds, but for LNG, they will hope to go further in LPL playoffs. Now matching 4th place, the highest this organization has ever hit. They will have a date with JDG to see if they will be able to take down what has been one of the most terrifying splits we've seen from JDG in the last 2 years. It won't be an easy road for LNG, but this team now finally looks like the super team that we've been promised since January in 2022.
Super team with super carry Doinb in the middle of it all. What an incredible series from them. The adaptation we've seen in their run this year to every team, changing the style a little bit. But now in this one, right, they had falters in game 4. They lost the fight or the entire game off of one